Hello and welcome back to my stamp studio. So I am here today to share my newest Class to Go card kit, this time using the newly released Butterfly Brilliance bundle. Now this bundle is actually an early release from the upcoming new 2021-22 Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog. So happy that it will be staying around for a while because I cannot seem to get enough of these cute little butterflies. They just make me happy. I've always loved butterflies, and they just at this time of the year make me feel hopeful that spring is just around the corner. So let's talk a little bit about the bundle. It consists of a cling mounted stamp of 6 gorgeous butterflies, all very different, okay? Now, this is like a background stamp in that the stamp is all one of the 6 butterflies on it, okay? Now, I have been using it like a background stamp. I have also seen where some people are purchasing an additional butterfly stamp set, which is just $17 for just this stamp, and they're actually going in and they're cutting the butterflies apart, and that way they have 6 individual butterfly stamps that they can play with, okay? I have left mine all intact. I have just been using them all together at this point. At some point down the road, I may decide to cut them up and have 6 individual ones. We'll see. But I've enjoyed just using it as a large background stamp, okay? Now, it bundles with the Brilliant Wings dies here, and these are gorgeous. So you have 6 butterfly dies over here that actually coordinate with the 6 butterflies on the stamp, okay? Just pretty, all of them so different. And then you have some additional dies here. You have one large one that actually will cut out all 6 butterflies from this stamp. They match up and coordinate with this die. And then they've given you 5 little fun dies here that you can create some different backgrounds with, or some different design, texturing kind of elements in the background of your card. And I thought I would just hold these up. That's white on white, so that makes it hard to see. Just a second here. I can do better. Here. It just gives you a little bit of texture. These little dots in the background, kind of a little brick wall texture, and then I really like this little crisscross one. I don't know if it's showing up there, but oh, it's just kind of a fun little surprise on the background of your card, okay? In addition to those 3 little design elements dies, you also get these adorable little mini butterfly cutouts, which are all solid but so cute as a little accent on your card, okay? So, the Butterfly Brilliance bundle is also part of a suite, or Stampin' Up! Now is calling this a collection, okay? And the rest of the products that are in the Butterfly Brilliance collection are the Butterfly Bijou 6x6 Designer Series paper, and it is beautiful. It's full of pastel-y colors. There's one print in that DSP that actually coordinates beautifully with this larger butterfly die, and that you can just lay it on that 6x6 paper and run it through, and immediately you have 6 easy, fast butterflies, okay? It also includes in the collection or the suite the Natural Touch specialty paper, which has a little bit of a wood grain natural look designer series paper there, okay? Now, I opted not to use those in this class, all right? I opted to kind of go a little bit different route, and you'll see here in just a little bit. But I can't get enough of the bundle. The bundle, the stamp set, and the dies sells for $54.75. And when you purchase the bundle from me, you'll receive free supplies to make 4 cards using your new bundle, okay? So let me go through first here and show you the class cards. I have these here and these here, okay? Now, it's just a little bit different of, I guess you could call it a fun fold, but I opted to basically cut off 1 3/4 inches off the top of the card here, and I applied some of the Golden Garden Designer Specialty Acetate that is actually from the Fine Art Floral Suite, okay? And I just thought it gave the top of that card just a fun little touch, and soft, delicate with that cute little butterfly on there then, okay? So in this class, you basically are making 2 card designs, but I'm changing up the colors on them so they feel kind of like 4 different cards, okay? There'll be one of these in Mint Macaron base and one of these in the Flirty Flamingo base, okay? And I just took and stamped one of those butterflies down in the corner there, and then I've also been using the ornate embossing folder in this class, and I used that on the flap of the envelope, which I thought turned out really nice with these butterflies, okay? Now on these, I did some different, see how pastel-y and light colored these two are here? Well, then I went with something a little more bold. I'm using Ballet Blue, but I really colored those butterflies very dark, bold colors with some dark embossing there, and it just makes them pop, I think. Went ahead and just stamped 2 of those butterflies off onto the envelope there, and then you'll also receive supplies for a So Saffron base card. Again, changing up those colors and making them much more bold and rich, okay? So I think even though they're really 2 card designs, I really think that the 4 cards look very different with different colors, okay? So now you would receive supplies to create one of each of these free with the purchase of the Butterfly Brilliance bundle, okay? Now, because everyone has different stamp stashes, I may be using some products today that you don't necessarily have in your stash. So I offer those as additional add-on products in what I call an add-on list. You can receive a 10% discount on these add-on items with the purchase of my Class to Go card kit and the bundle, okay? I will do my best to mention those add-on items in my video today, but they will also be listed with this post, okay? It's important to point out here, though, that the 10% discount for these add-on items is only available when you send me your order and I place it for you. It is the only way I can give you that discount. I do need to let you know I need to charge a $4 postage fee, which covers my mailing of the card kit supplies to you. The kit is free, but I do need to charge a $4 postage fee. Your Stampin' Up! Products will be shipped directly to you from Stampin' Up! Once you have all your stamping supplies, you're ready to simply sit and stamp with this video as your guide. The kit does all the creativity for you, and you get to stamp in the comfort and safety of your home. So contact me via email, which is listed with this post, or message me on Facebook when you're ready to place your order. You will find all these details with this post along with the ordering dates. And again, if you have any questions, please reach out, okay? So I'm going to get started right off the bat with one of my add-on items to this class, and that is this gorgeous paper that you have been looking at behind, okay? Now, I mentioned the Butterfly Bijou paper that also coordinates with this bundle, but I, for some reason, wanted to go a little more springy with these gorgeous flowers in the Ornate Garden Specialty Designer Series paper. Now, I don't know, my mind immediately thought of this paper when I saw these butterflies, so I just wanted to use it, and I thought it turned out really nice. So this will be an additional add-on item to this class, okay? So I just wanted to point that out there. And the first card we're going to create is going to be these two here with the acetate at the top. Now, I think these are a little harder to see. Maybe if I did that again here with my black piercing mat, you'd be able to see a little bit better. I have some of that gorgeous garden specialty acetate paper at the top of the card, okay? So basically what I did is this is a standard 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card, but I took and I cut off from the base about 1 3/4 inches here off the top, and that's what gave me that room then to be able to place that acetate at the top of this card. And I think it just looks so fresh and just light and airy with that little butterfly up there too. I just thought it was a fun way to showcase those butterflies, okay? Now, as I mentioned, you will receive the same designs, but you'll receive supplies to create two different colors, okay? So there'll be one in Flirty Flamingo and one with Mint Macaron, and your DSPs may be mixed and matched there just a little bit out of that Ornate Garden specialty paper, okay? All right, so today I actually have supplies to create the Flirty Flamingo card, okay? So you'll have these supplies, including an envelope, in both. You'll have it in the pink, the Flirty Flamingo, and you'll also have it in the Mint Macaron, okay? So you'll have 2 strips of Flirty Flamingo or Mint Macaron that measure 1 inch by 4 1/4. One of them I have taken and run through the Ornate Garden 3D embossing folder, okay? This has the yellow sticky, so it takes that special plate when you run it through your die cut machine. This would be an additional add-on item at 10% off with this class, okay? But I just love this folder. It has lots of cute little dainty small flowers on it. It just works perfectly, I think, with this paper and the butterflies. Now here is that specialty acetate. This will already be cut and scored and folded for you when you get it. It'll just ship better that way. And there'll be one side that's silver and one side that's gold, okay? Now, if you prefer to have the gold showing on the outside, you certainly can take this and fold this back on itself, retake your bone folder and be able to give yourself a nice burnish there, and you should be able to flip that if you'd rather have the gold showing instead of the silver, okay? I opted for the silver because I have some of the clear and shiny epoxy elements there. I just went blank on those. Frosted and clear epoxy droplets. That's what they are, okay? Okay, so you'll also have a piece of DSP, and this DSP is going to measure 3 1/2 by 4, okay? So just notice that it's measured differently on each side here, and I'll show you that in a minute, why that's important. Then you'll have a piece of basic white that measures 3 1/2 by 4. You'll have a piece of basic white that we are going to take and run 2 of the butterfly dies through. And I thought for this particular card, these 2 are the ones that worked the best. You will find when you play around with your dies that some layer better with each other or twin up better with others than some others too. So I just thought that these 2 here really coordinated well together to layer for our card, okay? So you would take those to your die cut machine and go ahead and cut those out. You can run those through once, back through again a second time, but they actually punch out very nicely despite all their little intricate spaces there. And then you'll have a piece of Flirty Flamingo that'll be scored down the middle. It will be 8 1/2, scored down 4 1/4, and it'll look like a little short card. You'll think, uh-oh, Dawn made a mistake in cutting it for me. I didn't. Remember, our base card has about 1 3/4 inches cut off the top of it, okay? And that's where our acetate is going to fit to complete the rest of our card at the top, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and take my basic white 3 1/2 by 4 piece, and that's going to get placed in here on the inside. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I got a dry catch there. And then you're going to have a piece of DSP, which I mentioned was 3 1/2 by 4, and that's where this comes into play. You'll notice when you go to apply this that it's not going to fit that way, okay? If you put it this way, you'll have a nice 1/4 inch surround. Go ahead and put some of my Stampin' Seal on that, and we'll get that attached. Whoops, I got a little bit on my work surface there. And if I don't take it off, everything I do from here on out will stick. Okay. Sorry about that. All right, there we go. Okay. Now the next thing I want to attach is my acetate piece. Okay. Now, this is actually going to get attached so that it goes over the card base here, okay? So you'll have it over the front and the back, just like that. Now, the easiest way I have found to attach this is to take some of the multi-purpose Tombow glue here and run just a little ribbon of it right along that top edge of that DSP. Now, if you feel like you got a little too much at one end, you can just take your finger and just kind of help it. You might get worried because the clear acetate, you think it's going to show through. It's not going to matter because we're actually going to cover that up. I'm going to take that clear acetate right along those scored lines there. And I'm going to take and just gently lay it down. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I do have little rulers always in my craft area. These, I think, are little sewing rulers, but they come in so handy for projects like this. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to place it here. I can see that I'm not quite at 5.5 inches, okay? So I'm going to take my acetate and I'm going to pull it up just a little bit there. And now I'm going to measure top to bottom again, and now I'm right on at 5.5, okay? And that's just so that you get a full-on 5.5 inch card, okay? Just kind of keep working with it. There's 5.5. I've measured it side, medium, and the other side there, and I'm at 5.5, okay? The other thing I want to make sure is that my creases are tight together, okay? You might have seen how I push those in a little bit, and then take out any gap that you might have here with your finger, okay? Just like that, okay? Now we're going to do the same thing on the back side. Go ahead and just take and put a little ribbon, just a little bit of your monoadhesive, and go ahead, and if you want to take your finger and smooth out that glue, you certainly can. But I'm just going to take it and just come straight over with it. I should be pretty straight, right? Because our score line is going to be straight. If you want to come in here again and measure just to make sure you don't need to do any little shifting, you certainly can. But I'm at 5.5 all the way across there, okay? Now, to cover up this ugly seam here where that's overlapping, you take on the back side your plain piece of Flirty Flamingo, okay? I'm going to go ahead and put some multi-purpose glue on here. And I'm going to make sure that I am starting here on that score line, and I'm going to make sure I go out far enough to cover the fold of that acetate out there, okay? And then I'm going along the line of the inside here. I'm going along the line right here of my lower piece there of the Flirty Flamingo. Remember, you have a few minutes. You can shift and move it if you need to, okay? Now, this may look like it's poking out a little bit here. It's okay. It's pretty forgiving there, but I would rather have that covering that little corner of the acetate that comes down over our base card than to have it just hanging out there, okay? Now, the same story with the front here. I'm going to go ahead and take some multi-purpose glue, and I applied it pretty generously. Again, I'm going to make sure I'm covering up down here that score line of the acetate, and then I'm lining it up straight across with the Flirty Flamingo base piece underneath there, right along there, okay? Just like that, okay? Again, I would rather have a little Flirty Flamingo out here, making sure it's covering up those edges. It just looks nicer, I think, along that edge. Now, along this edge over here, though, where the card actually opens, you might have a little bit of Flirty Flamingo that is a little long there. So by all means, feel free to come in here with your snips and trim a little bit of that off, okay? We're going to do the same thing over here. This one I actually have even just a slight hair of that acetate that's coming out there as well. So I just came down and I snipped that off to make it nice and even there. Okay? Right like that. Now, for the sake of time, I already cut out the two butterflies that we use for this card, and here they are. And to attach these, I'm simply going to take some multi-purpose glue behind here, right down the center of his body. And I kind of liked him off over to the side here. His body pretty much takes up that whole 1-inch strip there underneath. Remember that you're attaching it to some texture from that embossing folder, so I really gave it kind of a nice little rub there. Our second butterfly, same story, a little bit of multi-purpose glue on there, and then just, I'm really looking at their bodies and centering it top to bottom and side to side. Go ahead and give that a little press with your finger just to make sure those are there. Let them dry a little bit. And then I thought, to play off the silver acetate, that I would pull in these frosted and clear epoxy droplets. I just love these. They come in that shiny metallic look, but then they also come in this frosted look, which I thought looked beautiful with that acetate, okay? And so for each of the cards, you will have in your kit a large frosted droplet that I just placed right there in the center of their bodies, and then you'll have 2 smaller ones for each card, one for both sides of that large one. Okay, just like that. That look pretty on there. Now, this bundle does not have words, and I opted not to use any words on the card, the kit cards as well. So this could be for any occasion. I think it's pretty just kind of a just because card or a hello card. Obviously, you could add a sentiment to it out of your stash if you wish to. All right. So remember, you'll have supplies to be able to create a Flirty Flamingo and a Mint Macaron, okay, card. And I just think these turned out beautiful. Once your butterflies have dried, you can really come in here with your thumbs underneath like this and pull their wings up, and it just kind of brings those butterflies to life and just so pretty on there. And with that acetate on the top of that card, I just think that's really stunning. Okay, so that is the first card in this kit. The second cards, and third, I should say the third and fourth cards, right, are these here. There's one in Ballet Blue and there's one in So Saffron card bases. And you can see that I really changed up the looks. I made these a lot darker, more vibrant colors, okay? So today in my class, I'm going to be making a So Saffron card. So I have a So Saffron base here, and I have a piece of basic white that measures 5.5 by 6. It'll be our stamping piece. And then I have another piece of basic white here that measures 4 by 5.25. And then I have a piece of just jade, which I thought looked beautiful on here. It measures 3/4 of an inch by 5.5 that way. And I did go ahead and take it and run it through again that ornate garden folder, which I thought just looked beautiful in the background with these flowers or these butterflies. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is let's go ahead and just attach my inside piece here to get it out of the way. Have a 1/4 of an inch all the way around there. Okay. And then you will want to give yourself a nice heavy burnish on that score line for this, okay? Flip it over and even do the back side, okay? So that it makes it lay nice and flat, or as flat as it can, okay? If it pops up a little bit like that, it's okay. Because we're going to stamp directly onto that, and we're going to be using the large butterfly stamp. And I feel like the best way I could get the best image with this stamp is to use my Stamparatus, okay? So I'm going to pull my Stamparatus in and go ahead and open up that plate there. Remember, when you're using your Stamparatus, it's nice to have something under that plate, okay? And a stamp case works perfectly. It is just the right height to be able to allow this plate here to be nice and flat, okay? Sorry for the glare. A little better, but now it's a little darker over there, isn't it? Anyway, we'll be focusing here mostly though. So, but I just want to remind you about that stamp case, how it fits perfectly under there. So I'm going to go ahead and take my card base and I'm going to place it on my grid paper here so that I know it's a nice, even all the way around there. Unfortunately, this stamp is so large, you can see as I place it down here, that I really don't have a place for my magnet. Now, I could maybe sneak it in. I could come over here maybe and sneak it right there, just enough to kind of anchor that paper. But I really don't need it to hold it because we're going to use some Versamark on this, and we're going to do some clear embossing, okay, with it. Now, remember, we're going to get this color on color look, I guess is what I want to explain to you here next. This is beautiful how you get this color on color. I'm just a huge fan of that one. Here too with the ballet blue, you have color on color there, okay? And it just gives that nice, subtle, but beautiful background. And you can achieve that 3 different ways. I could ink up this stamp in So Saffron ink or ballet blue ink and stamp it directly to paper and call it good. That would give me just a little bit more of a subtle background with these butterflies. I could also stamp this stamp up with Versamark ink, our watermark stamp pad. Remember, this is one of the best ways to get color on color look, okay? Again, it would be a little more subtle though than what you're seeing here on these, okay? But still a beautiful look. I found that when I did the Versamark and put clear embossing powder over it, I really got this beautiful, shiny, vibrant background, but still gave me that color on color look. And I just loved it for these cards. So that's what I've opted to do with these kit cards, okay? So now that I have my butterfly placed on my card base the way I want it, I'm going to go ahead and bring this plate down, grab that, and then I'm gently going to pick it up because I really don't want my card base to shift or move at all, okay? That magnet will be holding it a little bit there, but I wouldn't trust it completely. And then I'm going to take my Versamark and come down onto my stamp and give this a nice inking, okay? I'm sorry if the camera is shaking. But I really want to give this a nice inking. Okay, so much easier to come with your stamp down onto the ink pad, isn't it? All right, then we're going to take and gently bring our plate over, and I'm going to place that down on the card base, and I'm going to press, press, press. I'm going to press all the way around the edge of the card base and press down the center and really give that paper time to soak up that ink, okay? People get rushed and hurried sometimes, and that's when your results aren't quite as nice. So give it some time. All right, we're going to gently pull that off. And I do see inking on there. I'm going to go ahead and pull my magnet away. I'm going to grab my card actually from underneath and realizing that I forgot to buddy. So don't forget to buddy, okay? I'm going to hope that there weren't a lot of my fingerprints or static on this paper because the clear embossing powder will stick to other things than the ink, okay? I'm going to tap my card off gently there, and I do have a few spots here that there has been, you probably can't see it on camera, but some of the embossing powder in here has stuck, probably where there's either static or oil from my fingers, okay? So always use the buddy, okay? I sometimes get kind of anxious and get going and I don't buddy, all right? Remember that Stampin' Up! No longer carries the embossing buddy, but if you need one, I have a stash. I bought a bunch up when they went out, and I have plenty that I can send out if you need one. I always keep a paintbrush nice and handy, especially when I'm embossing, but near my stamping area, that I can come in here and actually work off some of that extra powder that might be where you don't want it, okay? You just kind of go ahead and brush that off a little bit, okay? Tap my card again, and most of that falls right off. So I got lucky this time. Then I would take my heat tool, and I would go ahead and I would heat that up, okay? And remember, you're going to have a card in Ballet Blue, so you're going to do that same step on your Ballet Blue card, okay? Versamark with clear embossing powder over the top of it, then take your heat tool and heat it up, okay? And all of those items would be additional add-on items to this class. 10% off. Now you have a large piece of basic white, 5.5 by 6 in your card kit. And again, I'm going to take this, and I had marked a dot there in the corner for my first Versamark embossing butterfly on the card base, but I just went one square out then for this one on my grid, okay? I'm going to take and put my magnet over here on this side. Now, I have made this basic white piece larger so that I can make sure I have enough room over here for my magnet to hold this, because I am probably going to do multiple inkings on this one, okay? I'm going to go ahead and not forget this time to use my embossing buddy. And this time, instead of taking Versamark, I'm going to take basic gray, okay? Remember that you can always emboss. You have embossing powders in every color you want, because you can use any of Stampin' Up's classic inks and clear embossing powder over the top of them, okay? You do have to work a little quicker so that you don't, the ink doesn't have a chance to dry, but it works really, really well, okay? Now, just having made these cards, I know that I'm probably going to have to ink this a second time, okay? There's just so much detail in these butterflies that one inking does not appear to be enough to get the dark color that I really want. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and press, press, press. Gently pick that up. I have a magnet that's holding my paper there. And that looks nice, but I know that I can get this a little darker. So I'm going to go ahead and ink again. Sorry if that's off camera just a little bit there, but ink that up there, all over, and then come down, and I know I'm directly on top of the last stamping I did. Press, press, really give that paper a chance to soak up that ink. Now, right when I pick this up, I want to make sure that I have my clear embossing powder close by, okay, because I do not want this ink to have a chance to dry, okay? So I think that's pretty good. Go ahead, and you can see I already got a much darker image that second time, inking that second time. I'm going to take my clear embossing powder, and I'm just going to pour it over the bottom half. Go ahead and flip that around, and then I'm going to pour it over the other half here, okay? Go ahead, tap off your extra, and then you'll take your heat tool and you will heat this all up, okay? And they will become very dark and vibrant, okay? Just beautiful. They'll be dark and rich colors. Not colors, but the gray that's on there, okay? Now, for the sake of time, I've already done that. And I've already taken a chance, too, to do some coloring. To really give these a beautiful color, I used the Stampin Blends, okay? And you will notice that each of these cards has different colors on them, okay? I made them kind of coordinate with the base a little bit better. The Ballet Blue one is using the Misty Moonlight, the Pool Party, and a little bit of Daffodil Delight in there, okay? The So Saffron one, I changed up and I used Pumpkin Pie, Granny Apple Green, Just Jade, And then I threw a little bit of the Daffodil Delight in there as well, okay? I think I used the Just Jade on this one as well. I don't think I mentioned that. So when you're coloring your 6 butterflies, 3 of them will go on one card, 3 on the other. I went ahead and used those first colors there on these 3. And then these over here, I went ahead and colored with these other colors, okay? So I'm going to go in here and just do a little coloring to finish this one off here before we cut them out. Remember that most butterflies match, their wings match. They're symmetrical on both sides, okay? So kind of keep that in mind if you really want to give it a realistic look. I think I'll go ahead and add just a little bit more orange up there. I really like the orange on these. And then I kind of, as a rule of thumb, kind of come in here with these little stripes, and I just kind of go every other or every 2 or so. Just remember that the one you do on one side here, you need to come over and do on the other. Okay. The other colors I used on this selection were the Granny Apple Green. Most of these blends I'm using the dark color just because I think it shows up so nice. I'm going to come in here and below every single one of those orange stripes I'm going to put a Granny Apple Green one. And then again over here on this side, and I want to make a match, so let me turn this so I can see it a little bit better. Of course, know that I am working quickly here on video, so just like that. I think we'll add maybe another one in there. There we go. I love the Granny Apple Green. And then the dark Just Jade, I can come in here. We're not going to use very much yellow on this one, I don't think. I think I'll save that bigger section there for the yellow. And we'll have a little yellow down here. And then I think I'll make his body Just Jade. And I'm going to come down with the dark Daffodil Delight next. Now remember with blends, if we were trying to contour the colors a little bit more here, and I got an area that maybe was too dark, I could take one of the lifters, the Stampin' Blend lifters here, and I could come in here and pull some of that color off. And I'll include that as an add-on item. All these blends will be included, these colors, as add-on items to this class. But you can see how you can just really achieve some beautiful, dark, bold, vibrant colors on these butterflies, okay? Now, one of the most fabulous things about this bundle, this die coordinates beautifully with this stamp, okay? So I can line this up just like this. I can come over to my die cut machine and punch these out, okay? And so bear with me, I'm going to do that here. And it only takes one time through to gain these gorgeous butterflies. Aren't they pretty? Oh, just makes it so easy, right? Now let's continue to build the rest of our card, all right? So I have my piece of Just Jade that was run through the Ornate Garden Flower folder, okay? And I'm going to take the 3 butterflies, it's actually these 3 here that I have with the So Saffron card, and I'm going to attach these, and I think I'll put the small one at the top. I'm going to make mine like my sample card. However, I have made these where I put the smallest one in the middle, or I've just used 2 butterflies, okay? You can layer and stack these however you would like. But But today I think I'm going to go from smallest to largest. Now, to place these though, I like to place the top one first, and then I like to place the bottom one next, and then I like to place the middle one. And that way I know I can get that middle one centered nicely. Okay? Just like that. Okay? I could use dimensionals on those. However, I opted to use dimensionals on the back of my strip here. And so I thought, you know, sometimes you can get a little too many dimensionals, get a little too much height with stuff. So I thought this was enough. I also recommend that you do attach the butterflies to your strip first, because that allows you then to place it on your card wherever you would like, okay? And it'll be spaced beautifully. I put the strip on here first on one card, and then my butterfly overhung the edge, and it wasn't good. I had to peel it up then. So, but if you do it to the strip first and then apply the strip, then you know exactly where you're at, okay? And then remember, you're going to have a ballet blue card, and we can do the exact same thing with this one. I can attach the little one here at top, this beautiful large one here goes down here at the bottom. And notice and remember, I'm putting them onto the strip here first, especially with this larger butterfly, because he's got quite a little wingspan here, and he might overhang the edge of your card. Go ahead and place 3 dimensionals. And then this one can still be over to the right a little bit, but make sure that that wing, and make sure they're straight there, okay? And there you have them, just like that. Now, once those dry, remember what I said about bringing their wings forward, okay? I've done that on these. And it just makes all the difference with that little strip being up on a dimensional. It just really almost makes the butterflies look like they're flying off the card, okay? Now, one of the other things I added were some of the matte black dots, okay? I took those and I just placed them on the center, similar to like I did on the last card. Let's bring these back in here. You'll have various sizes. You'll have the large and the small, and I just kind of mixed and matched. I put 3 on the biggest one, just like I did with the cards 1 and 2. The second or middle butterfly here, I put one towards the top, and then I put a small one underneath is all. And then on the little mini butterfly, I'm just going to give you a single little small one, okay? So there's 1, 2, and then 3 of the matte black dot embellishments, okay? And again, these embellishments will be additional add-on items to this class. The matte black dots, which you get 160 of them in a pack, and the frosted and clear epoxy droplets from the first card, and 96 in there, okay? Those would be additional add-on items to this class, all right? So, the cards for this class, let's pull them in again so you can see them. Right here, I just think that they really show us some different looks with this. I could have opted to use things from the collection in this suite, but I kind of thought, oh, I kind of wanted to go a different way with things. So I gave you some nice kind of pastel cards, but I also gave you some bright, bold things to do with these butterflies. Just gorgeous. So I thank you for watching today, and please let me know if you're interested in picking up this great little bundle and having a chance to create these free, springy butterfly cards. So everyone take care until next time.